Thursday, the 22nd of August. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Ivanti's troubles continue. So Ivanti warns of a critical zero-day flaw being actively exploited in its Sentry software. So the Sentry software is what I used to know as Mobile Iron Sentry. It's being actively exploited. This vulnerability is being actively exploited in the wilds, which, combined with the other vulnerabilities that have been recently discovered in Ivanti software, adds up to a little suite of chainable exploits. This particular vulnerability, being tracked as CVE 2023-38035, has a CVSS score of 9.8 and affects versions 9.18 and earlier due to insufficient restrictive Apache HTTPD configuration. Quite a mouthful. So the exploit allows unauthenticated access to some sensitive APIs, and those are the APIs that are used to configure Ivanti Sentry on the admin portal. There is a patch available, so would definitely recommend that you apply the patch. And the other thing, if you are using Ivanti Endpoint Manager Mobile, try to avoid having port 8443 publicly accessible, because that's the port that's the Ivanti Sentry admin portal port. Lord. So, this is ongoing set of vulnerabilities in the Ivanti stuff. Otherwise, a very good solution to various problems around managing mobile devices. So watch out if you are using Ivanti software, but keep on top of your patching. And talking of keeping on top of patching, the critical Adobe Cold Fusion flaw has been added to CISA's exploited vulnerability catalog. So back in March, Adobe patched a vulnerability in their Cold Fusion solution. It relates to a deserialization flaw that's been present in Adobe Cold Fusion 2018 update 15 and earlier, and Cold Fusion 2021 update 5 and earlier, can result in arbitrary code execution in the context of the current user without requiring any further interaction. So patches have been out for a while for this, but it is actively being exploited. So I will lend my support, whatever that's worth, to CISA's recommendations that if you're using Cold Fusion, please ensure that you have patched. If you haven't patched, make sure that you understand what the indicators of compromise are, and check your systems over before just patching and walking away, because as always, there's no guarantee that if you patch a compromised system, it will deal with the compromise. It may only deal with the vulnerability that led to the compromise. And then finally from me, nice short one again today. Have you ever wondered who cares about whether my light bulbs are on the internet or not? I mean, it's certainly one that's crossed my mind. What could go wrong if somebody hacked my light bulb? Well, actually, I haven't got any light bulbs on, any smart light bulbs, but you know what I mean. What could happen? They could turn the lights on and off. Well, apart from being very irritating, I would say there is a whole load more that could be done. And there is a good article in Bleeping Computer that published yesterday that summarizes some research from an Italian and UK groups looking into vulnerabilities in TP-Link's Tapo L530E. What a lovely name for for a light bulb, smart light bulbs, and the TP-Link's Tapo app. Okay, so this particular model of light bulb is a top-selling smart light bulb, commonly available in all the usual places, Amazon and so on and so forth. And TP-Link Tapo smart device management app has got 10 million installations from Google Play at least. Um, Basically, the flaws are serious but not highly critical flaws. However, the outcome is definitely stuff of these being exploited is definitely stuff that you wouldn't really want happening. So there's a high severity vulnerability, a score of 8.8, which allows an adjacent attacker to retrieve the Tapo user passwords and manipulate Tapo devices. And there's a second flaw with a CVSS score of 7.6, which results from hard-coded short checksum shared secrets, which can be determined through either brute forcing or decompiling the app. Um, Third problem is around a medium severity flaw concerning the lack of randomness during symmetric encryption, making cryptographic keys predictable. And there is a lack of checks for freshness of received messages, and session keys being valid for 24 hours, allowing attackers to replay messages during that period. Now, that all sounds a little bit academic, but the outcome of that is basically it would be possible for an attacker to steal your Wi-Fi SSID and password and effectively join your Wi-Fi system, and they can also then uh, initiate man-in-the-middle attacks. Um, I am unclear about whether that gives them the ability to use the light bulb as a man in the middle and then get stuff from the whole of your network, or whether that means they can just intercept the traffic to and from your network, your light bulb. Anyway, either way, interesting article. Recommend a quick read of that if you are using smart devices. Bear in mind they are not necessarily as secure as you'd hope them to be. Well, that's all from me for today. I will speak to